curiosity is my main driving force. Yeah, I'll be a cameraman. I'll work behind the scenes. Okay, a disc jockey? Sure, I'll go be a disc jockey. Television host? Why not? Haven't tried that yet. Don't have the blinders so tight that you miss so many other open doors and opportunities. Be open to it all. Hey there, it's Storme Warren, and this is The High Notes. Today I'm going to be talking about my broadcast journey in country music. Growing up as a kid, I was obsessed with music and the radio. I would look right at the speaker and wonder what was the world on the other side of that speaker. What was going on wherever that guy was talking to me? So in 7th grade, I took a field trip, and Mrs. Cowan, shout out to Mrs. Cowan, said, "Where do you want to go on career day?" And I raised my hand first, and nobody else really cared. And I said, "We're going to our local radio station. It's a top 40 radio station in Tulsa, Oklahoma, called KELI." And so we went like a week later, and suddenly I saw what was behind my speaker. And I went back the very next day after football practice, still wearing my pads. And the program director comes out and goes, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I kind of want to come back." And he goes, "Really?" And Mel Myers is his name, and he took me under his wing. And after a few weeks, he realized I wasn't going away like a stray dog. And he was like, "All right, I'm going to put you to work." And about a year later, he gave me my first radio show at the age of 14. I've been steadily employed in the broadcasting industry, TV or radio, ever since. In 1992, Charlie Daniels told me to move to Nashville. I was living in LA, and I went, "Okay." And 2 weeks later, I packed up my pickup truck, said goodbye to LA, and drove across country. All my best advice came from Charlie Daniels. All of it. It's the mission statement of which I've lived by ever since, and that is, do it better and don't overthink it. Charlie's wife, Hazel, actually helped me find my first rental house in Nashville, and I got freelance work at a show called Crook and Chase, and I was suddenly in the country music world. And then you start thinking about, okay, this is great. What else can I do? And goal number 2, let me actually be the one creating the show, not just working for it. And I never wanted to be the host of the show. I was just going to be the producer and create the show. But then the economics was easy. We need a host. Well, I'll do it. So I was doing my TV show at the time, mid-2000s, I guess, and I get a call from John Anthony, who's the program director at The Highway on SiriusXM, and he goes, "Hey, you've done a lot of radio, right?" I said, "Yeah, a long time ago. It's been a long time since I've done radio. I've been pretty much focused on TV for years." And he goes, "Have you ever thought about coming back?" And I lit up, and that 13-year-old kid that went on that field trip just came to life again. I went, yes, that's what I want to do. I would love to do that. He goes, "Well, we've got this tiny little studio that we're starting off. It's at the Hall of Fame right now. We're going to move it to another building on Music Row. It's not much, but we really could use your help." And I went, "All right, I'm in." And I felt like I was relearning the business, the technology, everything. I was shaking the cobwebs off just to put those cans on my head, hear the sound of my voice through the microphone, hear the music playing, practice and posting a song. And if you know what that is, that's when you talk right up to the first lyric of the song. If you do it live and you hit it, it's like the biggest rush in the world if you could just absolutely nail a post. But for someone relearning how to do it, landing a post, it was like, yes! All right, we're back. And then we started seeing the numbers on the highway, especially after the SiriusXM merger took place. The numbers went from a few million to many, many millions. And suddenly we became the country music channel. We were breaking artists. We weren't just playing what was popular. And to see the success of artists like Florida Georgia Line and Chase Rice and Maren Morris, and the list goes on and on of all these artists that we broke that nobody had ever heard of before. We weren't just talking about country music, we were shaping country music. After 17 years at SiriusXM, I felt a little restless, honestly. And I get a phone call from a guy named Garth Brooks. And I've known Garth for 30 years, and he goes, "Hey man, this phone call's been a long time in the making. I'm starting a series of radio channels on the Sevens network on TuneIn. Do you know what TuneIn is?" I said, "Of course I do. I listen to a bunch of my sports on TuneIn." Like hundreds of thousands of radio channels are available on the TuneIn platform. So yeah, I've listened to it a ton. And he goes, "Yeah, I see this as a great opportunity to bring country music not just to Nashville or to the United States or to North America, but to the entire world." And we hit the ground running, and June 15th, 2023, we launched, and we're building something from scratch. Garth, so understanding about, it's like, man, I don't need this to be perfect. I just want to grow it. And he's just created this team that is so flexible and malleable and not afraid to roll up our sleeves and get dirty and try to create something special. And the Big 615, I truly believe, is special and is only going to become more special. I also have a new podcast. It's called Roadmaps. And my favorite thing to do in this business is the long form interview, where you really get to know and flashback from like birth all the way to their first big break. The approach I take to what I do, whether it's on television or on radio, is to remember the Johnny Carson approach to hosting. And that is, it's never about the host. It's got to always be about the subject you're talking to. I'm the link between the fan and the music, and that means me often stepping out of the way and letting the artist speak. What is important in the conversation is how they got here, and what drove them, and what mistakes did they make along the way. And sitting down for an hour with an artist and getting those stories, it's the highlight of my career. Thanks for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe, and check out more videos on the official CMA YouTube channel. We have the running joke with our audio guys. It's like, I could be standing in the North Pole, and just as we say, and we're rolling, some guy's gonna have a leaf blower out there.